Chosen one, listen to me carefully. What I'm about to share with you is not a general message. This is urgent. This is precise. And this is not meant for everyone. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if you are not serious about obedience, alignment, and spiritual growth, then this message is not for you. You may leave now. But if you are truly chosen, truly called, and you have felt that quiet pull in your spirit that you could never explain, then this message has reached you at the exact right moment. I say this with full authority. This message will change the way you see yourself, and it will change the way you move. You are not here by accident. Heaven timed this encounter. And today, you will understand why your steps carry weight, why your decisions shift atmospheres, and why you move with sanctioned power, cleared by heaven itself. Chosen one, your life has not been random. Your delays were not punishments. Your resistance was not rejection. God has been authorizing you in silence. Stay with me till the very end, because what you will hear today will bring clarity, calm your mind, and release you from doubts you've been carrying far too long. Before we continue, chosen ones, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon so you don't miss what God is releasing next. Share this with other chosen ones and comment 777 to declare that you are aligned, authorized, and ready to walk in what heaven has cleared for you. Section 2. What sanctioned power really means, not what religion taught you. Chosen one, let me clear something up gently but firmly. Sanctioned power is not what most people think it is. It is not loud. It is not forceful. It does not rush into rooms demanding attention. And it certainly does not need applause to feel real. What religion often taught you was performance. What heaven gives you is permission. Sanctioned power is heaven saying, you may move now. It is divine allowance. It is authority without anxiety. And if you are honest with yourself, you have felt this before. There were moments when you acted, spoke, or walked away from something, and later you realized it was protected. Things aligned quietly. Damage was avoided without effort. You didn't force it. You didn't even understand it fully. That was not luck. That was clearance. This kind of power does not inflate the ego. In fact, it does the opposite. It humbles you, because when power is sanctioned by God, you realize it did not originate from you. You are not the source, you are the carrier. And carriers are careful. Carriers move differently. They don't waste energy trying to prove what heaven already approved. Religion often made you afraid of power. It told you that confidence was pride and authority was arrogance. So you learned to shrink. You learned to question yourself. You learned to wait for permission from people who were never assigned to approve you. But God never intended his chosen ones to live timid lives. He intended them to live obedient lives. And obedience produces authority. Sanctioned power means you no longer chase validation. You don't need people to agree with you in order to obey God. You don't need applause to confirm alignment. You don't need constant reassurance that you are on the right path. Something inside you knows, and that knowing does not shout, it rests. This is why chosen ones often feel uncomfortable in loud environments. Too much noise interferes with discernment. Too many opinions dilute clarity. When your power is sanctioned, your spirit prefers peace over praise. You are not antisocial. You are just calibrated differently. Let me say this clearly because many of you struggle here. Sanctioned power does not mean everything will go smoothly. It means everything will be purposeful. Resistance does not disappear. It becomes irrelevant. Delays do not vanish. They become strategic. Even confusion has an expiration date when heaven is involved. You see, unsanctioned power is exhausting. It relies on effort, manipulation, and constant motion. That is why so many people burn out while doing good things. They were moving, but they were not cleared. Sanctioned power, on the other hand, conserves energy. You move less, but accomplish more. You speak fewer words, but they carry weight. You make one decision and it does the work of 10. This is why people misunderstand you. They see you moving calmly while they are panicking. They see you waiting while they are rushing. They assume you are passive, unaware, or behind. They do not realize you are moving with permission, not pressure. Heaven does not rush. It releases. Chosen one, think back. How many times were you removed from something you desperately wanted, only to later realize it would have destroyed you? How many doors closed abruptly without explanation? How many plans collapsed even though you prepared well? Those moments were not failures. They were divine refusals. Heaven was protecting its clearance over your life. Sanctioned power also explains why certain opportunities feel heavy even when they look good. If something requires you to betray your peace, compromise your values, or silence your discernment, it is not sanctioned, and your spirit reacts before your mind understands. That discomfort you feel is not fear, it is warning. You were never meant to take every opportunity. You were meant to take the right ones, and the right ones arrive without forcing your hand. They arrive with clarity. They arrive with peace. They arrive with confirmation, not confusion. Now listen closely. Sanctioned power does not always feel powerful at first. Sometimes it feels like restraint. God often clears you internally before He moves you externally. He teaches you to control your reactions before He expands your influence, because uncontrolled power destroys the carrier. That is why your season of silence was necessary. That is why your isolation was intentional. Heaven was stabilizing you. You did not lose time, you gained maturity. People who move without clearance are always in a hurry. They fear being left behind. Chosen ones who move with sanctioned power know they cannot be replaced. What God assigns to you cannot be fulfilled by someone else. That is why your journey looks slow to outsiders, but precise to heaven. And here is where mental peace begins to return. You stop competing. You stop comparing timelines. You stop explaining yourself. You stop defending your pace. You understand that alignment is more important than acceleration. Religion taught rules. Heaven teaches relationship. Rules control behavior. Relationship shapes identity. When you know who authorized you, you don't panic when people withdraw support. You don't collapse when recognition is delayed. You don't feel threatened when others rise. You know what was cleared for you will not miss you. Sanctioned power also changes how you handle conflict. You no longer need to win every argument. You no longer need to correct every misunderstanding. You allow truth to reveal itself over time. You trust God's timing more than your tongue. This is why silence has become your strength. Not because you are weak, but because you are clear. Chosen one, let this settle into your spirit. You are not behind. You are not confused. You are not wasting your life. You are moving under clearance. And heaven does not clear things randomly. It clears what it intends to sustain. As this understanding sinks in, your mind will relax. Your shoulders will loosen. Your breathing will slow. Because clarity always brings peace. And peace is one of the strongest signs that your power is sanctioned. You are not walking blindly. You are walking authorized. Section 3. Signs you have been cleared by heaven without announcement. Chosen one, heaven does not announce clearance the way the world announces promotion. There is no ceremony, no public declaration, no applause. Clearance is quiet. And that silence confuses many people who are actually chosen because they expect validation before authorization. But heaven works the other way around. Authorization comes first. Recognition may come later, or not at all. One of the first signs you have been cleared by heaven is that your life began to simplify in strange ways. Not easier, simpler. Certain relationships faded without drama. Some conversations stopped happening. Some environments no longer felt comfortable, even though nothing obvious was wrong. You didn't fight it, you just drifted away. That wasn't loss, that was alignment. Another sign is this. You started feeling guided from the inside instead of pushed from the outside. You don't need constant advice. You don't need everyone's opinion. You listen, but you don't absorb everything. Something within you filters information now. You pause before reacting. You sense when to speak and when to stay quiet. That inner restraint is not weakness, it is training. Cleared people become selective, not because they are superior, but because they are responsible. Heaven does not give authority to reckless carriers. So, before your influence increases, your discernment deepens. You start noticing energy. You feel shifts in rooms. You sense when something looks right but feels wrong. And many times, you cannot explain it logically. That is clearance speaking through intuition. You also begin to notice that certain plans fall apart, even when they look perfect on paper. You did everything right. You prepared. You prayed. And still, it did not move forward. Earlier in your life, this would have crushed you. But now, something else happens. You feel disappointed, yes, but not devastated. Because deep down, you trust that what was blocked was not meant to bless you long term. That trust is not learned. It is given. Cleared by heaven means protected from outcomes you cannot yet see. Another sign is emotional regulation. You still feel deeply, but you don't spiral the way you used to. You don't stay offended. You don't carry resentment for long. You don't waste energy proving yourself to people who misunderstand you. Your reactions shorten. Your recovery time improves. That emotional stability is not maturity alone. It is authority settling in. Heaven does not entrust power to unstable minds. Pay attention to this next one, because many chosen ones miss it. When you are cleared, people begin reacting to you differently, even when you haven't changed your behavior. Some become drawn to you without knowing why. Others become irritated by your presence without cause. You didn't offend them. You didn't challenge them. You simply existed. That reaction is not personal. Your clarity disrupts their confusion. Light does not argue with darkness. It exposes it. You may also notice that explanations no longer work the way they used to. You try to explain your intentions, your heart, your reasoning, but it changes nothing. People still assume, they still project. At some point you stop explaining, not because you gave up, but because you realized something important. Heaven did not assign you to convince everyone. Clearance removes the burden of being understood. That realization brings peace. Another sign of clearance is that your pace has changed. You are not rushing anymore. You are not frantic about timelines. You are not panicking about age, progress, or comparison. You still have goals, but they don't control your emotions. You trust that what is meant for you will arrive at the correct time. That trust calms your nervous system. And a calm nervous system is evidence of spiritual authority. Fear-driven people cannot carry heaven-backed power. Let me speak to the chosen ones who feel misunderstood by their own families. Clearance often creates distance before it creates agreement. You may feel like you don't fully belong where you came from, but you also don't yet belong where you're going. That in-between space feels lonely. But it is not abandonment. It is transition. Heaven clears you internally before it relocates you externally. You may also experience sudden clarity about what no longer aligns. Habits you tolerated now bother you. Entertainment that once distracted you now feels empty. Conversations you once enjoyed now feel draining. You didn't become judgmental. You became sensitive. Your spirit matured faster than your surroundings. This sensitivity is not fragility. It is refinement. Another unmistakable sign is restraint. You could react, but you don't. You could retaliate, but you choose not to. You could expose, but you stay quiet. And sometimes that restraint frustrates you. You feel capable of more. You feel ready. But heaven is teaching you something critical. Power is proven by control, not expression. Weapons are not always meant to be drawn. Cleared people also experience divine interruptions. Plans change suddenly. Paths redirect unexpectedly. Meetings get cancelled. Opportunities shift at the last moment. At first, this feels inconvenient, but later, you see the protection. You realize what you avoided. You recognize what never touched you because heaven intervened quietly. If your life has been full of near misses, you are not unlucky. You are guarded. Let me say something bold now. If you were not cleared, you would be living a louder life. You would be fighting more, proving more, explaining more, exhausting yourself more. The fact that you are learning to conserve energy, choose peace, and walk away from chaos is proof that heaven is stabilizing you for something greater. Cleared people become less dramatic, not more passive. You may also notice that God speaks to you in fewer words now, not through long explanations but through conviction, through nudges, through a sense of "don't do that" or "wait here." And when you obey, you are protected. When you ignore it, you feel unsettled. That sensitivity is a sign of clearance. Heaven does not speak casually to those it has not authorized. And finally, this sign is subtle but powerful. You no longer feel the need to announce who you are. You don't need titles. You don't need recognition. You don't need to prove that you are chosen. You are comfortable letting results speak later. You are at peace being hidden now. Chosen one, heaven never rushes what it plans to reveal properly. If many of these signs resonate with you, let your heart relax. You are not imagining things. You are not drifting. You are not losing direction. You are being cleared in silence, and silence, when guided by heaven, is not absence. It is preparation. Section 4. Why your moves trigger people, even when you say nothing. Chosen one, this part may finally explain something that has followed you for a long time. There have been moments when you entered a room quietly, said very little, minded your own business, and yet something shifted. The mood changed. The atmosphere tightened. Someone became distant. Someone else became defensive. And you stood there wondering, what did I do? The truth is, you didn't do anything wrong. You simply moved with authority that was not announced but felt. When your power is sanctioned by heaven, it carries an invisible signal. People may not understand it consciously, but their spirit recognizes it immediately. And spirits respond before mouths do. That is why reactions come without reasons. That is why tension appears without conflict. Your presence exposes internal states in others, and not everyone is comfortable with what they see reflected. You see, chosen one, you no longer move from insecurity. You no longer seek approval the way you once did. You may not even realize how much calmer you've become. But calm is threatening to people who survive on chaos. Stability unsettles those who are internally unstable, and clarity irritates those who are still confused. You don't argue, you don't overshare, you don't chase attention, and yet your stillness speaks louder than their noise. That is why some people feel exposed around you. You are not judging them, but your alignment highlights their misalignment. This is where many chosen ones struggle emotionally. You try to fix it. You soften your tone. You over-explain your intentions. You lower yourself so others can feel comfortable. But let me tell you something important, with love and firmness. You are not responsible for managing other people's